Welcome to episode 37 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast for sharing tips, apps, and gear for iPhone and iPad, along with related technologies that get us using iOS in a fun, productive, and meaningful way. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and I am thrilled to have me joined this week is Allison Sheridan from the NosillaCast Podcast. How are you doing, Allison?
I'm doing great. I believe I waited almost 30 seconds before I said yes when you said, can you come on the show? Yeah. And I said, today? Can it be today?
Wow. I mean, I don't think this is probably the quickest I've ever jumped in and said, sure, I'll do it today. That's right after asking you. This was great. I really appreciate you being here. Of course, you and I met at MacStock, and of course, we've had such a great MacStock really proves how great it is with the networking, how I've met so many great people, and all the people have been on the podcast the last couple of weeks already. And tell the listeners how our meeting went. And it's been 3 years now, so.
Yeah, so we met at MacStock, like you said, and in talking to David, it was just one of those things, watching him present, and I don't remember, I'll take full credit, but I think other people said it too, was, why are you not podcasting? Yeah. Because clearly you are our people. You like to talk a lot. You like to talk about tech. You like to talk about the tech we want to hear about. You were born for this. It's just like, no, but it's like if you were born to artists and you were an engineer and nobody ever told you about engineering, and all of a sudden somebody told you about it, like, yeah, that's my calling.
Exactly. Now, 4 years later, I've presented all 4 years, and I just get better. I've been improving myself each year, and it's been a lot of fun. And we just have a great time at MacStock, and we became friends. So I can't beat that at all. So
I got to tell you, though, you have tested my friendship a little bit here.
Did I? Oh no.
You had Chuck Joyner on before me.
Well,
Chuck Joyner.
Well,
I mean, really? Chuck?
He really
that hack?
He was the first one.
Nobody likes him. Nobody wants him on the show.
No, he's a great guy. You know that. But I know you and Chuck have a lot of fun playing with each other with that kind of stuff. So, but that's okay. So, so here's what we're going to talk about today. I knew this was going to be fun. I got a couple news stories. We are going to talk about iOS 12.0.1, which was released as we record this on Monday today. And then the Apple Watch Series 4, there was another news story about rebooting Loop again. Oh boy, daylight savings. We'll talk about that in a sec. And then the topics today are going to be Apple Watch. I wanted to get your opinions. I've been asking this question to the last couple of guests, and I wouldn't let you out with this as well, because I know you have one in Series 4, and we'll get through that. Some of the things we wanted to talk about. And then I threw out some iOS tips. I threw about a few we'll throw out there. Then we'll wrap it up and talk about Siri shortcuts and shortcuts. Brief discussion on that. And I want to get your take on the iPhone too, because everybody have been asking that as well. Because
that's all we're going to cover.
We're all going to cover. Yeah, it's a lot to talk about here, but we'll see where we go as far as that goes. So, so first things first. On MacRumors.com, our links in the show notes. They did release iOS 12.0.1 with the fixes. The biggest fixes was the charging issue with the 10S and the 10S Max, and the Wi-Fi bug that there was problems with it not connecting to Wi-Fi. And I really noticed that too, because I don't know if you did.
Well, I think one of the problems they said was it was connecting to 2.4 when it shouldn't have been.
Right.
And, we started noticing we were on 2.4 a lot, but I was just like, I don't know. My networks, I've got 14 in my house, and I caused all of them, so I never know what it's going to do.
Yeah, so it was those are two big pain bugs. And then the battery thing was, I did not notice it. I don't know if you did or not, but when I would plug in, I don't know if you use wireless charging or if you plug in with the lightning cable.
I do only wireless charging, so I did not run into it. Yeah. Well, actually, no, that's not true. On my iPads, I have a tendency, I definitely connect them in because I don't have wireless charging, and it did not affect them. I wonder if it only affected the phones.
No, it's possible. Because maybe it didn't affect the iPad. Speaking of the iPad, I did fix the positioning of the 1, 2, 3 keys on the iPad keyboard, because that was a flaw. And
you mean that they were backwards?
They were backwards, yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh, my friend Jill from the internet is just going to lose her ever-loving mind. Her boyfriend was losing his ever-loving mind about it.
Yep.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that fixed that problem. What was it else they say? Listeners, subtitles may not appear in some video apps. Address an issue with Bluetooth that could become unavailable. I did notice that. here and there. So
Wait, what? Say that one more time.
it was addressed as an issue with Bluetooth that could become unavailable. Did you come?
I am having weird Bluetooth problems for like the last year, so I hope that fixes something.
Yeah.
What I haven't been able to do regularly with iOS 12, at first I could do the continuity camera. I don't know if you've talked about that on the show yet.
No, we could talk about it.
If not, we can put it under the tip section. But it stopped working, and I wondered whether that was a Bluetooth problem.
It's possible. It's possible because that's what it was. I mean, I'm reading off the actual full Apple's release notes that were put in the update. So,
okay.
It looks like they also included some a slew of new features like the Siri shortcuts for some more shortcuts and stuff. So, I don't know if that fixed. That wasn't any additions. I think this is much more of a maintenance release because they're still beta testing 12.1. So that'll be when we'll be able to see the FaceTime where 32 of us can talk together.
Oh, I can't wait. That is going to be so much fun. I probably want 4, but still.
Exactly. So the other article that caught my eye, and I think I just touch on real quickly here is again, I think we experienced this last time there was a daylight savings time bug, and according to some folks that were on Reddit actually saying some Apple Watch Series 4 owners in Australia, and I'm sure we should have a few listeners in Australia have experienced crashes and reboots on Saturday due to a bug that surfaced because of the daylight savings time change, which they changed, I think, this past weekend. We changed, I believe.
Bless their hearts for them going first.
Yeah. So they tested.
Sorry, Australia, but thanks for beta testing.
Yeah, thanks for beta testing.
Apple is so good at everything but time.
Yeah, it's always been an issue with time. I don't understand.
It's like I'm a big fan of Honda and Acuras, and we've had 10 or 12 of them, and every single car was perfect with one exception. There was always one materials related thing. There would be rust in the same spot on every single Prelude, or there would be my first one, the seats disintegrated in the sun, which is not what you probably want.
Yeah.
And there was always a materials related problem. It was like they had this blind spot, and it's like that's the same thing with Apple. They don't get time.
I'm perplexed. I don't know.
That's like the 12th time that's happened, isn't it?
At least. So watch out. We'll see what happens in the U.S. when daylight savings kicks in here in a few weeks. I believe it's a few weeks late. I think we have a couple weeks yet before it happens. So we'll see.
By the way, you're going to get mail.
Yeah.
It's daylight saving time.
My apologies.
There's no S on it, and I'm sure someone will torture you.
And everybody's been wanting to get rid of daylight saving time for many years. So
yeah, I tried to look up when Europe was changing, and I got a whole bunch of hits on how they're trying to get out of it in 2019. I don't know if they're going to be successful, but bless them.
I'd rather have sunlight late.
By the way, if you hear anybody from Arizona say, well, we don't do daylight saving time, that's actually not true. A little known fact is that I think it's the Hopi Indians have one of the Indian reservations. They do obey it, and they've got one large reservation, and then they've got another reservation that has a hole inside of it that's not part of the reservation.
Okay.
So if you drive just correctly through Arizona, you can change time zones like 8 times.
Yeah, well, I think I experienced that in Indiana. You go into Eastern and you go to Central. Like it's weird, changing all the time. So anyway, let's move on to our topics for today. So like I said, Allison and I both have the Series 4 watch, and I don't know if you heard my story about the Series 4 watch. I was able to trade in my my Series 3 to Apple, and they gave me $175 for it.
Nice.
It was pretty nice. So I put the credit towards that. Had a $100 gift card. Then I sold a bunch of stuff on eBay, so the watch basically turned out to be free.
It was practically free.
It was free because I sold enough stuff. So
yeah, to let people know. So you did the gift card way, right?
Yeah, I actually got a gift card from my Apple Rewards credit card, so I had $100 for that.
Yeah, so I traded Steve's Series 2 in for $115, and I think it's the same price for the big or little watch, by the way, because a friend of mine's getting $115 for her smaller watch than he had. Yep. And you only have to give him the watch, so you get to keep the charging puck. Mm-hmm. So take the cost of the charging puck and add it to your savings, right? Because it's like you bought a spare charging puck.
You kept your band too, right?
And the band too. This was with Steve's. I kept mine because I use them for screencasting for Don McAllister's Screencast Online, and I've been using a Series 0 for that.
We love.
Yes, we do love Don.
I'm a subscriber to Don, and I love. All right, stuff, so we'll keep. We'll give him a plug. So,
all right, free plug.
Online.com. Go check him out. He's great.
I just realized something. We were going to introduce me.
I did introduce you.
Oh yeah. Did you?
Yes.
Oh, we didn't say what the show was. Well, I'll plug me in at the end.
At the end, maybe.
Please let me talk about myself.
Oh,
okay.
All right. Let's kick into the Apple Watch here. I know you're real into fitness. I need to be more into fitness, and you're probably gonna need to motivate me to be more into fitness. But they did add a lot of great features in fitness. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I see some of the notes that you put in here, and you say the battery is giving you issues.
No. The battery is amazing.
It's amazing. That's what I thought. Okay, because okay.
So my problem is that I work out twice a day.
Okay.
So just to let you know, my goal is to work out enough to compensate for how much I want to eat and drink. That is my goal. It's like, I look at it like balancing your checkbook, right? You don't spend more than you earn. Right. Why would you eat more than you burn? Right, the best thing about the watch is you can look at it and go, well, if I want to have that gin and tonic, I'm going to have to walk a couple of miles here with drag the dog out on another walk.
Yeah.
But the problem with working out so much is the LEDs are on the back of the watch, and so it burns the battery down very, very quickly unless you tell it not to, in which case you don't get the calorie count. So what's the point of going on the walk? Because it doesn't count if you don't have it in your activity app. So my problem was I was getting low battery warnings around 6 or 7 at night.
Okay.
Now that is a Series 2, so it's a couple years old. Maybe that's why the battery was getting old. But now I go to bed with like 40% left. Wow, that's with 2 45-minute workouts. And of course, there's the time. Actually, it's probably more than that. Anyway, it's a ton of time, and I've been super happy. So I heard that the battery was slightly smaller, but they redesigned the LEDs too. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure why, but it's way more better for me.
Oh, that's great to hear. And as I dug through some of the updates that Apple has added with the workouts, I'm assuming you do some competitions because you are a very competitive person.
No, not at all. Actually, let me tell you something in the field of competition, though. The new version of the Apple of iOS 5, now in workouts, it'll tell you, hey, it doesn't really appear that you're still working out. Do you want to shut the workout off? And for me, that's going to be pretty good because I rarely forget. But I know people I won't mention by name who maybe, stopped working out an hour and a half ago and forgot to turn off their watch and then and they still take the credit for it. So I think that's going to bring some people's numbers down. There are times I forget mine, and it's really nice. It's supposed to also remind you to start a workout, and I don't tend to forget that, but I'm looking forward to the first time it reminds me on that.
Okay.
But on the competitions, I just started one today with my stupid friend Pat Dengler challenged me. And it's actually going to be pretty good because our goals are pretty close to the same. Mine is 660, hers is 680. And the way the competition works is you get a point for every percent of your goal you reach, up to 600% to 600 points. Now, I think I've done triple my move goal once, and that was when I hiked Machu Picchu. So I doubt I'm going to run into that limit, but it's going to be interesting. She's been nailing or exceeding her goal pretty regularly, so it's going to be tough competition. We're on day 1.
Yeah, I wish you good luck. But the workout updates they did is things like the automatic, like you said, the automatic workout detection. I don't know if you've done any hiking. Does it
not yet?
And the pace alerts so there's a lot of great things, and it sounds like you've really been taking advantage of some of the great new features they added in the.
I will give you one way to be motivated.
Yeah,
I have the key. Change one word when you're ready.
Okay.
Change it from need to want.
Okay. So I want to work.
When you're ready to, if you do, you can't lie. You have to actually think it.
Right.
But when you think I want to work out, everything changes in your head. I want to work out, not, I have to go to the gym or I need to, I really should.
But having the Apple Watch might motivate you. You want to get those rings, and you want to keep all that activity in place. So
yeah, we have a lot of friends who've really gotten into good shape as a result. So my favorite, Bart Bouchat's, man, he was going to be on permanent high blood pressure medication at 33 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And instead, he told his doctor, no, give me one more chance to fix it. And he got the Apple Watch and he lost 80 pounds.
That's awesome.
And he gives the Apple Watch the credit for it, for actually forcing him to know how many calories are in things, how many he burns, and how much he eats. So yeah, I'm a big believer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the other new feature they added, and you and I just connected this morning, and I want to kind of play it so people can see it, is the Walkie Talkie.
I better turn off Do Not Disturb.
Oh, you have to spray on. Okay, let me see if it'll work.
All right.
Hello, Allison.
You know it's not going to work, right? Oh.
Hello, Allison.
Hi, David.
So that is so cool. I did, like you said it. This is like Dick Tracy. I mean, you're talking into your watch, and being able to communicate that easily. I mean, I think about it back in the day when Nextel existed, and when you had that. If you remember having those phones when you would do the walkie-talkie.
Didn't everybody hate people who had those though?
Because you know the sound. And you'd always hear the sound, and it would drive you crazy. So
I'm just wondering. I mean, there's an option to say, I don't want to talk to anybody right now, so I can do that right now. I can say, I can turn off available.
Right.
But I don't know. Does that get turned off if I go into Do Not Disturb?
I think it does.
Okay, let me check and see. Let's go up and slide up. Go to Do Not Disturb. Turn on for 1 hour, and let's see. Go back in here. Nope, it still says I'm available. Try calling me again.
Right.
We'll do a real-time test here.
Yeah, we're testing here. Okay,
all right.
Here, go in here. All right. Can you hear me?
Oh, no, it didn't come through.
Yep. So.
Okay, so Do Not Disturb. So you can purposely just turn that feature off separate from Do Not Disturb, but Do Not Disturb does turn it off, even though the little switch doesn't go off. But that's good.
Yeah. So love it. And so we did touch on the advanced running features, or did we? I don't remember. Did we talk about that?
I don't actually know what that is. What are the advanced running features, David?
I threw that in there, didn't I? I did that, didn't I?
Are you just making stuff up?
Oh, we talked about it. Yeah, that's the pace alerts.
I don't know what pace alerts are. What's that?
It's a choose a target pace, and the Apple Watch can tap you on the wrist to let you know if you're behind or ahead, if you want where you want to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I could have used that today. I actually I broke my personal record today. I broke my foot 7 weeks ago.
No, I remember.
Sorry, my toe. But so I can't run right now. My doctor won't let me yet. And so walking, I broke a 12-minute mile.
Nice.
I broke it by a lot. 11:47-minute mile. That's 5.1 miles per hour for you treadmill people.
That's awesome.
That's 8.2 kilometers per hour for you metric types. Yeah, it about killed me. I mean, my average heart rate was 147. I think I saw 169 in there. But it would have been cool to have the pace thing to let me know, was I staying on pace?
Yeah. The other
I had to take a nap this afternoon. I was so tired.
I bet.
Oh, that was for 3.5 miles too, by the way.
Wow, you are great doing that stuff. That's awesome. And also it has a cadence. That's it. A bad pronouncing. You can see your steps per minute during running workouts, and then you can run. Then running at your optimum cadence can help you.
I need to go look this stuff up.
Increase efficiency and reduce injuries. So you learned something on In Touch with iOS today.
There you go.
So those are the advanced features that we missed that, and moving on, you put this in for speed as far as? Oh yeah, absolutely. This watch is incredible performance. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny, the things that I notice it on. I think after a while you stop using certain features of the Apple Watch because they're too slow. In fact, I should bring up maps and see how awful it is, because it was, when I first got my watch, ooh, cool, I can have maps, and it took like 15 minutes to bring the map up on my watch. But let's see, boom! Oh wow, that is really, really fast. That came up great. Yeah. So I hadn't tried that actually until just now, from back when I first got my watch. But the thing I noticed it most on was when you finish a workout, you say, okay, I'm finished. And then it brings up on screen what your metrics were. But then I always forget to hit done. So the next time I want to go do a workout, I have to scroll down and hit done. And it always took forever for done to be done. Yeah. And now it's just instantaneous. So awesome. I'm definitely noticing things being a lot faster.
That's awesome. And the heart rate it does measure heart rate. I know they also added the EKG stuff that's going to be for health in the future.
But yeah, we don't have the EKG yet, or ECG. Right? I keep meaning to look up the difference between those two. Yeah. But the thing, two things I've noticed, Steve had trouble with his Series Watch 2, would lose track of his heart rate. So he'd look at his workouts and he'd just have missing time where there was no heart rate shown at all. And ever since he got the new watch, it's been spot on. It's been continuously good. And there's a lot of people have trouble getting full exercise credit when they're in the walking workout. And I worked with my daughter on it. My daughter, Lindsay, had the problem, and she and I went back and forth, and we thought we solved it for her. So I wrote a blog post called, get all the exercise credit on your watch solved. You do that and everybody finds your post. And every day there's someone over the last year has written, it didn't work for me. And I mean, it's like this list of sad or angry people on this. Yeah. And so Lindsay told me, I bought her a Series 4 for her birthday, and she told me she gets full exercise credit on her walks now. So I was like, yay, now it's solved. And today I got a thing on my blog post of someone saying, hey, I got the Series 4 and it still didn't fix it. And it's the weirdest thing. It's only on walks. Like if you change it to other, it's fine. You get full credit. Basically, it just tells you worked out for 13 minutes when you walked for an hour. It doesn't give you the full time, even though your heart rate's high and, all the things you should be doing. And so I'm not quite sure what that is. I was hoping the Series 4 was the solution, but still maybe not.
Interesting. Yeah. So, good stuff with that. Fall detection. I haven't really talked about it that much. You did turn it on. I still
but by default, slip and fall is not turned on until you're 65, and that's assuming you tell the watch how old you are, which you tend to if you want to do the workout credit. That's one of the things you do in the health app. Right. But I fall all the time, David. I mean, I fall doing stupid things like walking my dog. I hit my head on the concrete. I mean, walking. I was jogging once and I broke my hand. I just, I broke my foot in volleyball, broke my toe walking in my bedroom. Just saying. So the fall detection is very likely to actually be necessary for me. But if anybody doesn't know about it, the idea is that if you fall and you need assistance, you can tap the watch and ask for emergency assistance. Right. But if you don't move for, I think it's 1 minute, it calls emergency services anyway. And I think it notifies your emergency contacts.
Okay. Yeah. No, that was a big feature they talked about when they introduced it. So it's
that would have been good for when I hit my head on the concrete on my dog walk. You'll like this part of the story though. This woman came running out of her house. She saw me fall, and her neighbors came over and she gave me an ice pack, and Steve came to get me. And I figured I was fine because we were on our way to the vet anyway. So I asked my vet if I was okay.
Oh, you're funny.
She looked at my eyes. She said, yeah, your pupils are dilating the same. You're fine.
You're good. And then, yes, I remember I did read your great blog post that you wrote about the size comparisons between the Series 3 and the Series 4. We'll have that in the show notes. I really appreciate you putting that there. And yes. Yeah. What was your thoughts? Because I mean, I looked at the two next to each other before my watch was traded in, and they're really, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, other than the edge to edge and the much more beautiful screen, I mean, there really isn't much difference in size.
Yeah, the thing that I was looking for was how much more screen space did you get? And I'm kind of a numbers nerd, so I did this giant spreadsheet of doom, trademark Donald Burr, and I put in all the dimensions and everything. And what I was looking for was how much bigger was it in width, height, and then how much more screen real estate did you get?
Right.
And they're all thinner. The new ones are thinner, so they're actually the volume change is not that much. So, for example, you did. I'm guessing you went with the 44 millimeter watch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So David going from the 42 to the 44 is only. Let's see. Oh shoot, where's the metric? There it is. Case volume. 1% bigger case volume.
Yeah, didn't really.
But he got. Right, but he got a 32% increase in the size of the display.
Right.
I mean, that's huge. And the width is 18% wider and 15% taller, but he got 32% more screen real estate. And then I did the same thing for the 438 to 40. Yeah. But I also looked at some people like my friend Pat Dengler, who's doing this awful challenge to me. She had the big watch on Series 3, and she went down to the little watch on Series 4, and she actually gained 3% in display area.
Yeah.
So if you bought the big watch because you wanted a big display, but you'd really rather have a smaller watch, you can actually go down in size, save yourself $50 if that's what you wanted.
Right. Oh yeah, it's a great article.
All the math and pretty pictures in there to show you.
Tremendous work on this, and it's we have the link in the show notes. We want everybody to take a look at that and get a good understanding, the size comparison. Now, really, what everybody asks me, and I'm sure you get this question too. Is there any compelling reason to upgrade from Series 3 to Series 4? I mean, what did you think? I mean,
I didn't go 3 to 4.
You and I are both early adopters. I mean, for the most part.
But I didn't go Series 3 to Series 4. I went Series 2 to Series 4.
You went 2 to 4. Okay.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
absolutely no brainer. I mean, knock it out of the park.
Or 2, no brainer. But
right. What do you think on the 3 to the 4?
I mean, other than me being an early adopter, I mean, I just did it because I'm an early adopter. But
what about the screen?
I mean, the screen is incredible. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, I think it's got an absolutely beautiful screen. I mean, I've been looking at this for about a week now, and yeah, I mean, looking at text messages, it's clear. It's easy.
Oh, I'm still blown away by it. I'm not. I mean, every time I look at it, even something as simple as tapping your PIN code in,
right?
The buttons are bigger. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you like that part of it, yeah, I mean, I can't see much of a difference. I can't see that you would really want not to upgrade from the Series 3 to the Series 4. Again, you get a good
Apple's gift back program.
Yeah, your trade-in value is great for the 3. So, I mean,
Gazelle must be really mad.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't used Gazelle in a long time. I just every time I look,
it's terrible pricing. But my friend that's trading in her Series, I think it's the Series 2. She always shops at Best Buy, and she always trades her stuff in there, and she gets warranties and all the stuff. She loves Best Buy is great, and she said they were only going to give her like $50 for it, and she's getting 115 from Apple. So I think it's a pretty competitive price. I mean, you might be able to get better selling it yourself, but you're not losing much, I don't think.
Yeah, that's crazy. So. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about some tips that I threw out there, and one of them was the group notifications by app. If you actually swipe on the,
we're flipping over to. Are we talking about iOS?
We're going to iOS now. So yeah, I'm sorry.
iOS.
Throw a transition here, unless you had any other topics you want to talk about with Apple Watch.
Nope, that's good.
All right, sorry to throw you off there. I'm dumping right into the next topic. iOS tips here. So group notifications by app. Have you been seeing a lot of you liking this new feature in iOS 12?
I don't know. I look over and I guess I have a Ring doorbell, and I have construction workers working in my house right now. So my Ring notifications going off every 6 to 7 seconds. Yeah. So it is kind of nice that there's a giant pile of them now that I look at them right now.
But I like how they stack. That's really what because before in iOS 11, you just have to scroll through this endless list of, especially when I've got Twitter. I have Twitter notifications on, so you get come up, but the people like Mac Rumors and things like those types of sites, I like to see what they're talking about. But the nice thing is they stack now, so I can tap it and then I can look at it if I want to.
And you can clear them all at once.
And you clear them all at once as well. Yeah,
that's nice.
So the nice thing about the groups notifications by app, if you swipe and then if you go into manage, it does bring up that dialog box. If you want it to deliver it quietly, you can tap that button. You also can just turn it right off right from there.
How do you do that?
So what you do is
you're looking at a stack of them.
Go to one of the stacks and then you swipe to the left. Then you'll see
from left to right or from right to left.
From right to left.
Okay.
And then you'll see.
No, that's one of those things that people say like Don and I say the opposite thing to mean the same thing. So okay, so you can go to manage. About this
stuff too. It's hard. I get twisted too. So then
I always say both words because then everybody knows what you mean.
So when you go from right to left, you see manage, view, and clear. So if you tap manage, a little dialog box will pop up and ask, not dialog box, actually it's like a window. And it shows you from those notifications, if you want to deliver it quietly, which will just make it a little quieter than the way it normally does when it pops up. You could turn it off completely right from there. Because think about what you had to do before. You had to go into the settings and turn it off into the notifications. And then
deliver quietly makes it make no noise.
Yes, no noise. It's a quiet notification. Then if you want to go into settings again, easy to get to the settings right
jumps
from
you
here,
right in there
instead of having to go dig deep into the settings and notifications.
You should do a podcast about this. You know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's the stuff. So if you go into the notifications list, they've changed those alerts too. And I like the way they're laid out. They're actually they have little images of the phones as opposed to it used to be like bars.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, it's 9:41 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, when the iPod was released, and the lock screen, notification center, and banners, and then you can set the banner to style right there and turn things off right from there, which is nice. I think.
Yeah.
And if you want to temporarily disconnect those, you can as well. You can, I believe, if you go to View. I know View actually lets you go into like for instance, if you go into View. Instead of you have again, I have notifications of Twitter. If I go View, it'll actually view it in the dialogue, actually in an actual notifications box, and then I can like and retweet or tweet or whatever I want to do to that tweet.
Don't slide too quickly.
Right.
If you slide too quickly, it clears them. So I just lost a bunch of notifications because I went whoop. Oh.
No, don't do that. Yeah, be careful on that. So, the other thing you could do is I didn't know this too, is the hidden weather lock screen widget.
Oh, wait, did you skip over temporarily disable notifications?
Oh, I did. You're right.
Because I really like that one. So right now I had on my calendar that I was going to be on the horn here with David from 5 to 6.
Yep.
And when 5 o'clock hit, my iPad lit up and said, "Would you like to disable notifications during this meeting?" Why, yes, I would. Thank you.
Yep. And then so that's where you actually go in and it. I'm just looking here at my notes here. From there, you can. I believe it's right from where the manage option is, and I believe you tap turn off, and it'll turn off temporarily. That's what that.
Well,
does.
yeah, it gives you an option of turn off notifications, turn off for an hour, and
sorry, got discombobulated there for the minute.
Did you get a notification? Lost your choo-choo?
Yeah, exactly. You went to manage, and I went to turn off right, and it gives you the option to configure it. And do it temporarily.
That's a really nice feature, and it's surfacing itself by that Siri suggestion that, hey, I looked at your calendar. Would you like to do this?
Right.
And discoverability is probably one of the biggest problems with these things, right?
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's really hard to find a lot of this stuff and for it to discover it. It can be a challenge. It definitely can. So now we'll talk about the hidden lock screen widgets.
Okay.
I got thrown off here. I said, "Holy cow!" When I would pick up my phone in the morning, because of course all of us have our iPhones on our bed, on our nightstand when we wake up in the morning, right? So you pick it up.
I keep mine in the other room, but
do you? Okay, well, I have it on my nightstand. Okay, what can I tell you? So when you pick it up, it says "Good morning," and I said, "Oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know it did that." But also, what you can do is there's a way in the widget you actually can have the weather come up in there as well. Now, the only way you can do that is you have to go in and go into the weather app and make sure that notification that it's always checking. When you go into it, you always go into the location services. That's it. So the privacy and then the location services, and all the apps have, usually I always set them to all while using or off if I don't want them to really bug me. But the weather app in itself, the Apple's weather app will allow you to set it to always. And then if you set it that way, what will happen is in the next morning or even the evening, the widget will actually pop up and tell you what the weather is for your location.
Huh. I have never seen it do that.
Yeah, from the screen. Yeah. So you have to turn that on.
Where do you turn that on, though? So I've got weather location services are on. We drove down to that.
Yep. So then you go into weather, and then where it says allow location access, you set that to always as opposed to while using the app. So then it's always
Are you saying that automatically puts it on your lock screen?
It does. Yep.
I have never seen it.
Was your set for always?
Mm-hmm. It was.
Okay.
I think you've done something else.
I don't recall it because I when I grabbed.
Oh, you know what? I don't have the weather widget on. That's probably why.
That too.
So if I go to edit and add the weather widget, that's a lot of W's in there. Then it would work. I bet.
Yes.
I'm going to try it, and I will be sure to let you know tomorrow.
Now tell everybody how you go get that widget enabled.
Okay, so let's see. We swipe down from the upper left if you're on an iPhone 10 or 10s. I don't know where that button is anymore. And actually, is it all in the upper left now?
I believe
for
so.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I did not like that, having two different ways to tell people how to do things. And then, and if you scroll all the way, let's see, you swipe from left to right this time to get the widgets, and down at the bottom you get an edit button, and you can add and delete things, and you can reorder them with the little hamburger menus.
There you go.
It's kind of funny in Southern California. No matter what you do, it says sunny and 69. Ooh, chance of rain 10%. That's huge for us.
Hey, it was 84 here today.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So it'll be like in the 50s by Thursday. So back to Chicago, cold weather. It'll be colder even sooner than you think. All right, and then did you know you can actually ask Siri, and I'm not going to say her other than that you can ask her to turn on the flashlight? That was always a nuisance that you could never do that.
Why didn't you tell me that 2 days ago when I was down on the beach to take pictures of the Falcon 9 rocket launch that
that's right. I saw your guys post.
That SpaceX did a Falcon 9 launch and had this beautiful plume in the sky. And so we ran down there to go see it. And I needed that red flashlight to be looking at my camera settings. And it took me about 10 minutes to figure out how to do it. Where is that anyway? And
so you basically say, hey, you. I'm not saying it because it will trigger on everybody's device.
I don't think it does. Not really.
All right, well, it will if I say it from here.
Right. It'll trigger yours, but I don't know. I just say it on my show, but you can be nicer to your audience if you want.
Okay. Say, hey, Siri. I'll be real quiet. And then you can tell her to turn on the flashlight, and it turns on. And you can tell her to turn it off too.
Nice.
See?
I like it.
My HomePod just enabled.
But ask your audience. Okay, no, I'm going to ask your audience. Tell David if anybody's turned on when he did that, or reacted at all.
Send me email, the feedback at intouchwithios.com, or you could tweet me to let me know. But if it worked, we'd like to know. All right, so that's another good tip. And then the other one, I don't know anybody gets too excited about this, but you can enable the favicons in Safari.
So is that an iOS tip?
It is.
So what David is talking about is most websites have a little tiny icon in the URL bar, but you normally don't see it anymore because the lock took it over. So you used to see it all the time, but now if you've got tabs open, you would see it. But where do you do that on iOS, David?
So what you do is you have to go into the settings and then go into Safari.
Mm-hmm. Give me an hour to find Safari. Okay.
Yeah. And then let me get down there too.
Favorites,
so
open links, and new tabs.
Go down where I'm losing
Block
Safari.
Pop-ups, cross-site scripting, automatically save offline, advanced. You sure it's in here? Because I knew it on the Mac. I didn't know it was on iOS as well.
Let me double check where I found that.
While he's looking for it, I put in a new one for mine.
Go ahead and talk about the PDF. Printing.
Okay. So I had somebody write to me a long time ago asking how to mark up an email using the pencil on an iPad, and I sort of expanded the answer to include the iPhone and to talk about how you can print to PDF on an iPhone. So on the Mac, when you go to print in the bottom left, there's a button that says print to PDF. So you can save an email, for example, or other document to PDF. It's very handy. Well, on the iPhone, if you go into if you got an email up, you hit the little reply button, and one of your options there will be print. But instead of printing, pinch out with your fingers, and it turns it into a PDF. And from there, you can save it as a PDF. But you can also go attach it to an email, and then go into markup and mark up the email. So it's kind of a convoluted answer to a convoluted question, but the main trick is how to print a PDF is kind of cool. And I did a blog post on that, by the way, that I could add in here as well. A tiny tip.
I appreciate all of your great knowledge. That's why you are here with us today.
Well, as I managed to plug my show over and over and over again. Yes, so it's a tiny tip.
That's okay. So you go into Safari and
into settings, Safari.
Settings, Safari. And I believe you have to go into, where is it? It was in here. I swear it was in here.
I think he's making this up because you don't see tabs really. Oh, show icons and tabs. There it is under general.
See, I did see it.
All
in
right,
there.
let's see what I see now.
So then the only way
Why
you
do you
see
ever see
the
tabs?
actual favicons is you tap the multiple windows button on the bottom right.
Mhm.
Then you'll see the favicons.
I see them floating in space, but I don't see any favicons on anything, including my own site.
Yep, I'm looking at mine.
Huh.
I see them. So trust me, they work.
Nope. Don't trust you. I think you're making something
All
up.
right. I'll put a link in the show
I
notes
don't
on it.
see anything. Am I? Let me just check and see if I'm looking in the wrong view. Are you talking about in that view? I should be able to see.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes, on the top left.
Nope. Don't see any. Well, you can believe David. He's probably right, but I don't see it.
All right. I'll put a link in the show notes for this particular tip. Not that I'm
I wonder if
challenging
I have
you,
to
but
quit or something.
you might have to.
Oh,
Or toggle
we should
it on
talk
and
about
off.
that. That's the best thing in the whole world is that you can quit apps by
Right, go
swiping
for it.
up instead of having to hold and get to the red X button.
Oh yeah, I hated
Oh.
that. I hated it.
I heard that they did it because they made it hard for us because they didn't want us quitting all our apps. And because there are those people who obsessively quit apps.
Right.
But
I do.
I don't. No, I read that it actually used more battery to do that, and so I stopped messing around with it. But
I do it that frequently.
you do know how to
once in a while,
delete
it's like,
to close all your tabs, right? On iOS. Have you talked about that one before?
always. That was my first tip when I
might have learned it
spoke at
from you.
Maxstock.
Yeah, I thought I heard it from some smart guy.
So anyway, I'm going to skip around a little bit in the notes here. Before we go to Siri shortcuts, I wanted to talk a little bit about the iPhone, and I wanted to get your thoughts on. You went with the 10s,
Yes.
right? Okay, and I have the 10s Max. I'm happy with having the 10x Max because I loved having the 7 Plus, and then of course my short-lived 8 Plus. Because I bought that in 8 Plus, and 2 months later bought the 10.
I didn't know you did that. No, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, so I thought you knew that. Everybody's been making fun of me. I thought for sure you knew that. I got a lot of
flack for that. So you went 7 Plus, 8 Plus, 10, 10s Max. So did you feel like the 10 was just way too small for you after having the plus size phone?
No, I wasn't minding the 10. I didn't mind the 10. I mean, I didn't think the size of the phone was that bad, especially because of having the edge-to-edge screen. Because when we had the 7 and the 8, you didn't have that. But then I look back and it's like, oh, I really loved. I mean, the 7 Plus was the one I had for the longest of the larger size iPhones. But I did like it. My wife's got the 8 Plus. She loves it. And I turned her on to the larger size screen, and she's happy with it. Yeah. So you got the.
I had the 7 Plus, and went to the 10, and then up then to the 10s.
Okay, so you did have a larger size device for a while.
Yeah, and I liked it. But when I went down to the 10, I was happy again. And then I did. My good friend David Roth started nagging me after I got the 10s, and I said, it wasn't enough different. He said, well, go play with the 10s Max and see what you think. But it felt really heavy to me. So I didn't switch.
No, it doesn't. The weight does not bother me that much.
Well, you're big, strong, strapping young man. I'm a little old lady,
It's the other people complaining about is the reach. Trying to reach, and I have a big hand, but
you got big manly hands. See,
yeah. So, but it can be challenging. I mean, I've had times like I've got my work email down on the bottom right, and then if I'm holding it, I'm a left-hander. So if I want to go reach it, I have it's hard to do it. So,
I think I use 2 hands to use my phone all the time. Anyway.
I mean, I do. I think most of the time I'm using 2 hands. But what about the performance? I mean, do you really notice?
I can't tell the difference at all.
10
the 10 to the 10s,
Eh.
no. I did a blog post. Why? Yes, I did put that link in the show notes, David. I did a blog post on whether you could justify purchasing the 10s when you have a 10 based solely on the camera. And I did a bunch of comparison photos looking at the low light capability and the HDR and the portrait mode and a bunch of other things. You absolutely can tell the difference between the cameras. There's no doubt at all.
And
it
I
is phenomenal.
Love portrait mode. Love. I mean,
the portrait mode is getting better and better. There was one picture There was one picture I really should have posted that I didn't. I took a picture of an orchid sitting in a window box with a screen behind it. And both cameras, the 10 and the 10S, did this beautiful bokeh around the orchid, except both of them failed. In the middle, there was a gap between the branches, and you could see the screen in full sharp focus in the middle. And I should have put it in as just for the comedy. But yeah, you could definitely tell the difference. But I don't think looking at any of those iPhone 10 pictures, you would go, oh, bleh, I can't. No, I can't possibly live with that. It's terrible.
No. For those of you out there that I've been saying it for the last few episodes, for those of you who have the iPhone 10, it's a perfectly fine phone. There's no reason.
Yeah, I wouldn't go perfectly fine. I go amazing.
Amazing phone.
It's an amazing phone with an amazing camera.
Same performance. There is no reason that you have to upgrade. Again,
no, you need Bionic, David. You got to have Bionic.
Have the A12. That's why I did it. Got to have the A12 Bionic processor. It's faster.
The bottom line of my comparison was that if you're looking for an excuse to drop $1,000 that you have to waste, sure, go ahead and use these pictures as an excuse, but you really should take that $1,000 and put it in your 401k or save it until next year when you really need the phone. A way to justify is to give it to your children though, or my friend Helma gave one to hers to her husband, so the poor dear had to get an iPhone 10s Max.
Yeah, so and that's all I really have to say about the iPhone 10 and the 10s. We've beaten that to death, but the like I said, those you folks out there have the iPhone 10, stick with it. Finally, we want to talk a little bit about shortcuts and Siri shortcuts. And have you messed with Siri shortcuts much at all?
I have, and I did mess around in workflows before, and I understand what it does. Mm-hmm. I understand how to use it. I use Automator on my Mac to build little workflows, same sort of concept. I do a little bash script programming here and there. I've written a couple little apps for myself that scratched an itch, but with the exception of one, maybe two workflows that I've found, I can't think of a real reason, a problem it needs to solve. Yeah. People always say to me, well, Allison, you can make a shortcut where you can notify your spouse that you're coming home from work and it'll give them an ETA. Like, so yeah, I can, they got me on Find Friends anyway, or, there's an app called Glimpse that does that. I don't know. It just didn't seem like the big money maker. And the same people will say it's life changing, and it's like, well, not really. The two that I do like though, one is called Frame Shot X. And if you do any screenshots and you like to send them to people, screenshots on the iPhone 10 and 10s look ridiculous because the aspect ratio is so weird. They're really tall and stupid looking. Frame Shot X takes your screenshot and puts the camera's the phone's edge around it, so it looks like the phone. So it looks far less stupid.
So it actually has the phone frame.
Yeah, and I found it on the Suite setup. What's that?
I totally want that.
Yeah. I mean, it changes your screenshots from looking stupid to looking intelligent. When I bragged about my run this morning, my walk this morning, I of course put the frame around the screenshot because it looked cooler that way. There is another one. I don't know whether I need it really though, because once I did it, I was pretty much done. I did one. I wrote one to create a QR code of my passwords for my Wi-Fi network. And once I created those QR codes, I printed them out on little pieces of paper and I put them up. I put them in my kitchen so that when somebody comes over, I can go, I'll just point your camera at this QR code. They get to jump on your network and you don't have to wait for your iPhone to maybe ask you if you want to, they want to get on the network. Unfortunately, I have so many networks that I had to make a whole bunch of them.
Oh, right. Of course.
But have you made any that you think are actually life-changing that
nothing
really
as of yet. Nothing as of yet. And I keep mentioning David Sparks because he has an unbelievable field guide through his Learn Sparky stuff for Siri shortcuts. And I still need to make some time to go through it. I bought it and I'm going to put in show notes again. I just keep mentioning him. I hope he knows I've mentioned him the last 3 times now. But I want to really dig into it. I mean, I did have the workflow app and I did play around with a lot of them. I mean, the fun stuff like downloading YouTube videos was always a great thing to have. I mean, those are the standard ones. I did create a Siri shortcut because I like to look at the stats of one of my other podcasts, my horse racing podcast. And I say, Siri, open up, and there goes HomePod again. When I ask her to just say open Simplecast, that's the host we use, and then I like that because and you can do this with anything, where it actually just opens up the site. I have it linked, and then I can go look at my stats real quick. I don't have to go to to Safari to navigate it. So I mean, I'm seeing some value with the shortcuts, both voice and the actual shortcuts app. And then they've got a lot of pre-canned things that are in there already. But like you said, there's just so much incredible things you can create if you want to. I mean, that's what's great about it.
I'm sure I'm being short-sighted here. So everyone who wants to tell me that I'm wrong, just have at it, because I'm sure I'm being short-sighted. I am not a visionary at all. That is like the worst thing I do. I said when the 512K Mac was out that no one ever needed a bigger screen.
Right.
And I also said, why would you ever need anything but black and white? So, you know, you want to listen to me when I was that visionary futurist, you know. But I felt very much the same way when I started looking at Automator, because I'd go in and I'd think, oh, this is cool. Look at all the stuff I could do, but I don't need it to do anything. Or whatever I thought, okay, here's a great use case. I want to do this. And I would immediately run into the wall of, oh, but you need to know AppleScript or JavaScript or you know, Bash in order to do the rest of it. So then I took Programming by Stealth with Bart Bouchatz, the podcast he and I do together, whether he's teaching us to program. And then I learned how to do some of this stuff. So now I'm actually using Automator. But the canned stuff that's in there, I never get very far without, okay, and then I need to extend it to something else.
Right. So, I mean, even if you go into Untitled Shortcuts and you can look through the list of all the things that it can do pre-canned without you having to go through, but there is scripting available, there's sharing available, there's text available. I mean, there's just incredible amounts of things you can do.
Maybe I just need to look at what everybody else has done, since I have no imagination. I do have a friend who has diabetes, and she has to do a lot of complex calculations to figure out how much insulin to take. And she's got these formulas and tables, and it's really complicated. And she's a programmer. Yeah. And she actually went through and figured out how to do a Siri shortcut that would run the calculations for her. And she had to figure out how to do she had a section of it that needed to repeat 3 or 4 times. And she didn't want to repeat the code, because that's a bad smell. You don't want to repeat code. And she realized that you can create a shortcut and put it inside of a shortcut. Oh, so wow. She basically made a subroutine by making this one little piece. So yeah, she was pretty pleased with that.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. But like I said,
unfortunately, she can't really share it with anybody, because you don't want to be giving medical advice, right? But she could tell people what she did.
Yeah, just give the info, but yeah, go from there. So now, Allison, I can't believe it. This hour has just flown by here. We've just had we've had a blast with this.
It has been. This has been really fun.
I really can't.
We're done already? Really?
Yeah, we're good.
We have to go.
We have to go unless you got something else you want to add.
The party's over.
No, we again really appreciate you joining me today, and we are just very blessed to have you here, and all the great information. And we're going to share all your links in the show notes, so we can get people to come out to your site as well as us. So
well, thank you so much. Can I explain what the shows are?
Yes,
just a real quick plug there at
before
the end.
We close it out. Yes.
Remember, I promised myself I would do that.
Sure, please do.
So I do several shows. The NosillaCast is my main show, and it's a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias, and that's been going for 700 shows as of yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so bummed I missed you yesterday. I was out and about. I would have been in the chat room with you guys.
Oh, well, anyway, it's a lot of fun. That's been going more than 13 years without missing an episode every single week for more than 13 years.
You're a machine.
I am a machine. I'm habitual, if nothing else. But I also do an interview show called Chit Chat Across the Pond Light, where I discuss just tech stuff with people that I find interesting in technology. And why is it you haven't been on that show yet?
I don't know. You tell me.
Right.
I'll wait for the invitation.
We'll have to talk about that. That needs to happen. And the other thing, the other show I do is Programming by Stealth with Bart Bouchatz, and that's a real propeller beanie show where it's more than 60 shows. I think 64 episodes. He's been teaching us JavaScript and HTML and CSS, and it's real nerdy and super fun.
Yeah.
And it's all over at podfeet.com.
She does great stuff. That's why I adore her. She's just such great fun, and I'm so glad you've been here. So let me close out this show here. Thanks for listening, and we hope you have been more in touch with iOS after hearing this episode, subscribe to our podcast in your favorite podcatcher and show your friends how to find us in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and even Spotify. Email your questions and comments to feedback@intouchwithios.com, or you can visit us at intouchwithios.com. And you can click on the contact or simply add a comment in the show notes. We look forward to bringing you more useful information in future episodes. And I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. And Allison, like we do in every show, you can tell people how they find you on Twitter and everywhere else.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Podfeet, and I already plugged podfeet.com.
Yes. And we hope you'll subscribe for future episodes. And thanks for listening.